Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of the Boost Your Boutique podcast. I'm Emily Benson, your host and best friend on this journey through boutique land. Today's episode, oh, it's so good. Before we get into talking about how to have a plan for your taxes, how to get your bookkeeping straight, I want to remind you that if you're a new listener, which a lot of people we're finding are, coming into my world through this podcast, I want to let you know I have so many free resources other than this podcast. Like, first of all, I hope you're digging deep into the 60 plus episodes that I have here. Like, literally, you could run your entire boutique just from this podcast. But I also have a wildly popular YouTube channel that if you just search my name, Emily Benson, should come up, Benson. We also have a Facebook group called the Fashion Truck Tribe. We'd love you to join that. We have almost 6,000 members in there sharing positivity, boutique tips, vendor ideas. There are trucks for sale, trailers for sale, things like that. So it's just really the most positive place on the internet for boutique owners. So I really want you to join. It's free. Like I said, these things are all free, you guys. And if you haven't caught me live on my Facebook business page, then head over there and like my page. It's Stylish and Successful with Emily Benson. You should really be able to type my name, Emily Benson, into anywhere, Google, Facebook, YouTube. Find a ton of free stuff from me. And that's what this is all about. I want to give you as much free information as possible so that when you are ready to invest in something, whether it's clothes, a brick and mortar, a bookkeeper, a coach, a course, whatever it is, you feel really prepared. You feel like, wow, I've done a lot of other research to then feel really excited to invest money or time or energy or other of your precious resources to grow your business, grow your personal development, all that jazz. We also have coming up the Rich Retailer Retreat, which is kind of fun that I'm interviewing a CPA on this podcast because, honestly, his whole deal is he wants to help you get rich, stay rich. And he probably won't tell you that, but really he wants to help you keep more money in your pocket. When I talk about being a rich retailer, it's really threefold. It's rich spirit, rich business, rich life. I really think that these three elements for anyone, especially boutique owners, is so crucial. You can't ignore one and focus on the others. You know that when you dive too much into your boutique, you kind of forget about your life. You know that life can take over and you'll feel like you're missing out on your boutique. And my intention with this retreat here in Austin, Texas in March is to help you figure out what a vision and a plan and how to balance all that. What does that look like for you? How are you going to do that? How is it going to feel really authentic to you? I attend so many business events and I leave feeling really crappy. Like I should, could, would be doing all these things. And truly what I get the most out of events and retreats is when the facilitators, the leaders have me tap into myself. And that's what we're going to do at this retreat. I'm going to have you tap into you, what it is that you want to be doing. Where is your growth path going? Do you need to hire an accountant to help you figure out your financial stuff? I know I do. So you'll leave feeling like you have a plan, you have a vision, you know what's next for you. The Rich Retailer Retreat is March 22nd to the 24th here in Austin, Texas at the Archer Hotel. We have a discounted room block. There's still plenty of time to get a really nice price on a flight or a train or however you want to get to Austin. Lots of options. And spend the weekend with me. If you want to learn more information, head on over to www.richretailerretreat.com. Link is in the show notes. And I'm going to also open up our email line. If you have questions, hello@stylishandsuccessful.com. Just send us an email. Any question, we've got them all. I've gotten some really crazy email questions, and they're not crazy, but You know, we get a lot of emails, so I'm sure you won't freak us out if you have a question for us, okay? That's all I want to tell you. I'm excited to introduce you today to Craig Cody. He's a certified public accountant, certified tax coach, business owner, and a former New York City police officer with 17 years of experience on the force. And I think he said during our interview about 18 years now doing accounting and taxes. As a certified tax coach, Craig belongs to a very select group of tax practitioners throughout the country who undergo extensive training and continued education on various tax planning techniques and strategies to become, as well as remain certified. With the organization, he's also co-authored an Amazon bestselling book. You guys, it's called Secrets of a Tax-Free Life. I'm obsessed. He also has another book that just came out that I'm going to tell you about during this interview. You guys, he's just really cool. I'm really committed. If you've listened to my, Vision for 2019 podcast, things I learned from 2018, I'm just so committed this year to really hunkering down on all the money stuff. And I wish I had kind of started doing it sooner, and that's okay. So my goal for you is to hope that you'll do it sooner. So in this episode, we're going to give you some ways to reach out to Craig and his team. I really like him. I know I have a phone call scheduled with him. And I think this is it. Here's the deal is once you take bookkeeping, accounting, taxes off your plate, the potential for you to focus on making money is just so much greater. That's what I know to be true. So I'm excited for you to listen in on my conversation with Craig, and we're going to give you ways to reach out. If you need help, he can help anyone in the country. So keep your mind open during this interview. I'm psyched for you to hear what he has to say. So welcome to the Booster Boutique podcast, Craig. I am beyond excited to have this conversation with you.
Well, thank you very much for having me here today.
So you are, I'll let you introduce yourself because I think that would be nicer. To explain to people what you do and just in the essence of it, because I'm excited about it.
Sure. Well, I'm a CPA. I have a CPA firm. We're located in New York. We have clients throughout the country. And what makes us different than most CPAs is we are really what we call proactive in planning for taxes for our clients and basically helping them keep more of what they make. So most people don't talk to their accountant all year round. We talk to our clients on a monthly basis. And the more you talk to them, the more you can save them money.
I love that. I have so many women that come to me January, February, and they say, my accountant just did my taxes and I owe all this money. And I'm like, oh, that just breaks my heart because it feels like women are kind of always playing catch up. It's like we're constantly catching up with the prior year's taxes. So with you guys, you're always in communication with people.
Yes. And I think, it takes, two people to be involved in that. So you need to communicate with them and they need to communicate with you.
Yeah, I love it. So you set everyone up at the very beginning with like tax planning, basically.
Yes. So the first part of our process is a tax plan where we'll go through prior year returns and we'll look for missed opportunities and we'll see, okay, we could save you $15,000 a year if we do something. It's not rocket science. Okay. We just got to do some planning.
Yeah. Well, and I think for a lot of people though, it does feel scary. Like, to be honest with you, I have had my own experience with CPA tax planners who scared the bejesus out of me and were like, oh, the IRS is going to come after you. And I was just so scared that I just didn't even want to deal with it. So I like talking to you because you're friendly and you're like, no one's going to hurt you. Right?
Right. That's right. That's right.
I mean, do you feel like there are missed opportunities that boutique owners, like where would you say, just from your experience, what's the biggest either mistake or opportunity they have to sort of save money on taxes?
Well, the biggest mistake is failing to plan. Okay. Mm-hmm. Nobody plans. They're going on a vacation. They research where they're going. They're buying a car. They research the cars. Taxes, nobody, and I mean, nobody likes the IRS and nobody wants to talk to their accountant because they feel like every time they talk to them, they're going to get a bill. All right. Right. So,
yeah. Or get beat up, honestly.
Or get beat up.
Or get told they did something wrong. Yeah.
We, as a whole, in the industry, we're probably not the best communicators. Okay. I took my pocket protector off before the show, but we have our pocket protectors and we're probably not real good at communicating. So, bedside manner. But I think it's important really that you reach out to your CPA today, and say, what can we start doing this year that'll save me money come next March or April?
Yeah. And you even do, one of the things on your website that I love was you even do kind of planning from a strategic sense, where I get a lot of questions where women say to me, should I be an LLC? Should I be an S Corp? And I'm always like, I can't help you with that because I don't know your family. Like, what does your husband make? How many kids do you own your home? There's just so many factors that go into that. So do you help people figure that out?
That's one of the 10 biggest mistakes is choosing the wrong entity. And typically they choose an entity by they're starting a business, they speak with their attorney, or worse yet, they go to LegalZoom. And because somebody told them to form an LLC or form an S corporation.
Yeah.
And they do that and they don't really understand what the repercussions of that. And then, it can cost them a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. And so working with a CPA, you're going to start from the beginning and say, here's how we should set you up. So really this is, and you have functions where you have people who will help advise on this kind of stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, we have 10 people. We have 10 people in my office. So I have 3 other CPAs here, but, I'm the planning person, that's my job is I do. And my staff make sure that, everybody integrates the thing that they're supposed to be doing during the year. They do those things to take advantage of those missed opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's all about keeping more of what you make.
I love that. And you're doing it from zero to however many millions of dollars people are making.
Right. Well, we'll talk to everybody. If somebody's making zero, I really can't save them any tax because they're not paying any.
Yeah.
All right. But sometimes people are just starting out. How should we do this? What's the best way to do it? And some of those people will do a tax plan for if they want to do it right, and some people will just have a conversation with.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of starting out in a place where you're set up. And I love the idea of like, hey, I'm the type of person where there was a year in my business where I tried to do my own taxes and I owned a truck and I didn't depreciate it. And then it's just a spiral of like, why the heck did I try to do my own taxes? That was the dumbest thing ever. And so it's been a couple years of like trying to just not recover from it, more like mentally recover. Cause I'm like, I beat myself up about it,
Right.
And now I'm just in the perspective where I'm like, I would rather be overly overly figuring this out so that I don't have to kind of go back and do 3 years ago to, and 2 years. Yeah.
Exactly.
It can just spiral. Let me tell you that.
And where's your time better off spent? It's better spent working on your business, not, doing your bookkeeping or trying to figure out how to do your taxes. Spend your time where your money's made. Yeah.
And your background is you were a New York City police officer.
Yes, I retired as a police lieutenant about almost 18 years ago.
Wow.
Yes.
So do you feel like your background as a lieutenant, police officer helps you in this job?
Oh, most definitely, because I learned to communicate with people. Like I might have one day been talking to, the CEO of a big company in Midtown Manhattan, or I may have been talking to somebody in a impoverished area.
Yeah.
Okay. And you may have to talk a little bit differently to get your point across. Okay. But you learn how to communicate.
Yeah. Well, and that probably serves you so well as an accountant now, because like you said, that's like the biggest gap. I mean, how are you not coaching other accountants on how to talk to people?
That's a good idea. But you know what CPA stands for, right?
Certified Personal Accountant.
Well, it's Certified Public Accountant or Cheapest Person Alive. Okay, so so it's probably a bad business deal to go into business trying to sell to CPAs.
Well, and here's what I'll say. I talk a lot about money mindset. It's one of my own things that I am, healing and whatever. And I feel like a lot of women have this money fear, money this. And honestly, you seem like the kind of guy that isn't going to trigger me into like, oh God, I made all these mistakes. You seem like the kind of guy that's like, listen, let's just figure it out, move forward.
Exactly. What's done is done. Let's move forward doing it correctly.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think with business, so many people sort of get to the point where they quit and they're like, it's too hard. I'm too traumatized. Let's just give it up. Whereas if you don't quit and you have someone like you on your side, it feels better moving
Well,
forward.
everybody thinks that the person that's successful is an overnight success. They forget that that's like a 20-year overnight success. You
Right.
know,
Right. And you've been doing, so you immediately went from the force to now accounting, like right
yep.
away?
I left the police department and I went to work for an international firm. Yep.
Wow. You went right into it.
So, um,
That's amazing. And you've had this company for how long?
probably about 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you've
Yes.
also learned your own lessons being a small business and
A lot of
growing.
fun. A lot of fun.
You can really relate to people though, honestly. I mean,
Definitely.
I feel like you're the one, I do a lot of research and going to your website, I'm like, oh, wow, I know very clearly what he does. I know very clearly his mission is to help people save money. Like you say, keep as much money in your pocket. I've got your one liner. And I know exactly how you do it through, planning, accounting, CFO, like all this stuff. I mean, it's really incredible how you've laid out your business so it's super clear what you do.
Overnight success.
Totally. Well, tell me what's one of the things you've learned as just an entrepreneur growing and scaling? What do you think you've learned just as an entrepreneur that will help
You
other
need to
people?
be adaptable. You need to be so adaptable because
Yeah.
things are always changing. I mean, when I first got into the business doing this, that wasn't even a thought.
Yeah.
Having an accountant that wasn't local, why would somebody even, how would you do that?
Right.
you know it was, we didn't have punch cards back then, but still, this was not something that you would do, and now it's a whole different world. I mean, you could be the other side of the country and we're having this conversation like we're in the same room.
Yeah. No, we are kind of across the
Right.
country. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean,
That's right.
that's the coolest part. I feel like that's another thing too, is I do think people try to find a local accountant. I know I did. And, it was fine, but I also, that person didn't mesh with me. To me, I want to find people to work with me, one, who are experts in what they do, and two, who have like a rock solid mindset about what they do. And they really mirror my mindset around it.
And if you think about it now, there's so much information you could get out there about somebody before you go to work for them, work with them.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be somebody referred you to your CPA and, you went in there meekly and you gave him your stuff and you hope, that he didn't make you feel bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's so much more information you can get about that person and see how they operate and see what they do and see what their mindset is before you actually even talk to them.
Yeah. I mean, I watched your promo video and I was like, dude, this guy's on a boat. Like, he's like, yeah, okay. Like, I want a boat. Like, no, but honestly, I think taking the approach of proactive approach, looking at ways to save money. And to me, for you guys, you take a lot of that off the hands of business owners, which
Right.
to me is just, I want to work with someone I trust. I want to work with someone who I know has my best interest and not their best. Like, how long is it going to, I think that's the other thing, like you said, is people think, oh, I'm going to go work with an accountant. Well, how much is it going to cost? That's everyone's immediate. And I'm always like, I don't know, like $300 to $500 to prepare taxes. That's like the general going rate. But that's just someone to prepare your taxes. That's not
Right.
someone looking
Right.
out for your best interest.
If you want somebody to put the right numbers in the right boxes, that's probably the low end.
Yeah.
And that's what you get, somebody putting the right numbers. But it may cost you $300 or $500 to do tax return, but it might cost you $15,000 and more in taxes. So, you have to get the value.
Yeah.
Work with somebody. And there's a lot of people out there that are very good, that'll help you keep more of what you make.
Yeah. And I feel like for you, you guys are always keeping up. I know, especially with this administration, there's a lot of tax changes and laws that, will make or break you. And you guys are educated on that way more than anyone else.
And this affects all business owners out there. This new Section 199 qualified business income deduction, the IRS doesn't even understand it fully. Okay. And they're still putting out, there's proposed guidance and there's guidance, and they're not the same thing.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So, And that's for what the list where it pertains to listeners is that's basically you take your net income, and as long as you qualify, you get a 20% deduction from what your net income is. So if your net income's 100 grand, the government's going to say, okay, you could take another $20,000 deduction.
Wow.
So somebody in the
Just like off the
30,
top.
yeah, right off the top.
Craig,
Right.
I'm going to be booking a call with you later. I mean, I already came to this call being like, I literally was on the phone with my friend who works for her family's accounting firm. They did taxes, she's in this world, and she's like, is he a CPA? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you should send me his info, because that's the thing is she was saying to me, she's had her taxes done by Joe Schmo because her husband wanted to do it there. And then she had her, uncle look at it, and he's like, she missed a $2,100 deduction. You could have, you're paying that now rather than deducting that. So it really truly is, anyone can do your taxes. This is the time, if you want to grow and scale your business, where you actually get serious about it.
Right, because the more money you save, the more money you could put towards your business, whether it's advertising, promotion, more money in your pocket, whatever it is. But, if you don't have to give it to the government, I mean, look, the president, Buffett, everybody, they all do tax planning. They have attorneys. You look at Mitt Romney, what his tax rate was tiny because it's structured that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, most of us can't afford an army of attorneys and tax CPAs, but there are people out there like me that can help you.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even just, we have some investments in some Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, he's great with money. And he was talking about he's saved like $2 billion last year, like in a quarter or something insane. And I was like, oh my gosh, now is the time to have a business, to scale it, because you really are going to get the benefits when you work with an expert to have. And like you said, you can invest back in your business, or, a lot of my listeners are moms and dads, and, to have money to save for their kids' college or an extra vacation or things like that. I mean, that's huge. And if you're able to look at their numbers and find that money to pull out, that's huge for a small business owner.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And, it's not easy being a small business owner. Okay. It's definitely not easy.
It's definitely not. But, here's the thing. I think the more you can delegate to experts, the more you can stand up and make more money. Like, to me, I'm the money maker in my business. It's like when I show up, when I do my job, I know I can make money. So what are the things I'm doing elsewhere that I don't need to be doing that are taking away the energy that puts, that is making me the money? So yeah. So, okay. How do we work with you? Like, you take calls from everyone. And I feel like I want to encourage anyone listening personally to get on the phone with Craig, get on the phone with his team. You have a book too. Let's back up and talk about your book, because you have 2 books. This new one is awesome.
See?
10 most expensive tax mistakes, you guys. This is his new book.
So that we're going to give as a giveaway. If you go to our website, which is www.craigcodyandcompany.com/boutique. And there'll be a landing page. You could fill it out and we'll mail you out a book.
Amazing. So he's going to mail you a book, and then we can set up a call with you or someone on your team.
Right. And there are people that say, the hell with the book. I just want to go straight to Craig, and they'll either call or email, and we'll send them a scheduling link and we'll get on a call. Usually we like you to tell us a little bit about yourself so we know what's going on going in. And we'll take a call and we'll see, is there something we can help you with or not?
Yeah. And that first call is free. There's nothing attached to it. You're literally just getting on the phone and they're saying, we can help you or we can't help you. And here's what it looks like.
Correct. And if we can't help you, maybe there's somebody we could refer you to.
I love that. So you're going to take care of people no matter what.
Yep. You're having me on your show. Okay. That's the least I could do.
I love it. Craig, you're so cool. And then once you talk to them, you kind of put them in a space of, you're making excellent. And again, this goes back to what I always say, and we talked about this before. You could be making $50,000 in your business, but your husband could be making $100,000 at his job. That's going to affect things. And that's where you come into play and say, okay, we're going to look at the total picture, not just your small business.
Correct.
And figure all this stuff out.
Correct.
I love it.
It all comes together.
I'm booking my call with you this week. Because honestly, this is somewhere I said to myself this year, and this is the year where I get really serious about money in terms of, yes, my mindset, which I've been working on forever, but also just the nitty gritty, because you do get to that point in your business where it just feels like, am I doing the right things with my money?
And you also need to know your numbers, and you need to know them on a regular basis, because, you might think you're making money, but maybe you're really not when you figure out, okay, well, I'm spending this, and this. I'm really, when all is said and done, I'm putting in all these hours, okay? And I'm really not, making that much money.
Well, and that's where a lot of my women land, honestly, as they say, Emily, I'm putting all this energy out. I feel like I'm making a ton of money, but there's just nothing in my bank account. Why is there no money in my bank account? I don't understand that.
Right.
And that's where you guys come in.
And you want to know, why is that? Is it your goods are not priced correctly? Or in order to do the things you're doing, you need to price it at X instead of Y, so you can make some money. There's got to be, profit built into that.
Yeah. And we talk about that a lot. Yeah. I talk about margins is something that I'm just a real jerk about, honestly, because I think, the way you price your goods is one thing. I think a lot of people end up also, and you've probably seen this in your business, probably scaling a little bit too soon where they don't have the capital. I hear people, I have this online boutique, I really want a brick and mortar. And I'm like, can you afford that?
Right.
That's a lot of overhead to add when maybe you're not ready for that. And that's something you guys can help people prep for.
Correct. And that's a big decision to go from online to brick and mortar, and all the expenses and build outs and all that other wonderful stuff that you have to do that people don't forget. And then they wind up having no money left, and then they have no runway.
Yeah. 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 I love that. I love that you work with other clothing businesses, wholesale and boutiques and bigger retailers. So the business, which I think is important, because a lot of accountants don't understand retail. They don't understand cost of goods sold. They don't understand, that piece of it.
Well, I think also a lot of retail people don't understand the numbers. They don't understand inventory. What is inventory? It's not an expense. It's inventory.
Yeah. It's totally different. Yeah.
You tell me I made all this money, but I have nothing left. Well, you have $150,000 in inventory. That's where your money is.
You have money sitting on the racks over there. Yes. Oh, by the way.
It's not free.
Yeah. Well, and I talk a lot. I just did a couple weeks ago, I did a 3-part series where I talked about, here's the metrics you need to know, like very basics in your business on the podcast. Here's the metrics. Here's the difference between accounting and inventory management. What are the metrics in those you need to know? And then, hey, guess what? QuickBooks doesn't track your inventory. It might be if you add this thing on, but QuickBooks is something totally different that we're doing accounting with, and that's the stuff I think you guys, you can educate people and set them up on all this stuff so that they don't have to search the internet for days figuring it out, or listen to my podcast where, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I can give you basics, but I'm certainly not going to sit there and give you advice on what you should do,
Correct. Right.
It's not.
You need to surround yourself with a team.
Yeah.
If you're actually, really serious about it, you need to have a team.
Yeah, I love it. So let's, one is, so we can find you at craigcodyandcompany.com. We'll put that in the show notes, /boutique. Sorry, we'll add that. You made a special page for us. Thank you. And I would love to know, just to wrap up here, what's the one thing you would love people to sort of take away about taxes, tax planning that is, if one thing stuck in their brain, what is that thing?
Communicate with your CPA and do it regularly. Okay. And if that person doesn't communicate back with you, go out there and find somebody else that will.
Yes. Find the right person. Well, thanks so much, Craig. I can't wait to talk to you about my business. And I hope you guys honestly will reach out to Craig. He's like the nicest dude. And definitely I'm not scared of him, which I'm generally scared of accountants. So
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome.